it, we're on track, we're not, this is what has happened. Because remember, when you're dealing with assets, the valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday, and what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. So that's a struggle. Yeah. So there are strategies everywhere from £50 a week up to £100 million pounds, and they're different. Right? They range differently from everyone, but and from country to country, to be fair. Different countries have different tax laws, so different vehicles. But from your point of view, at the sort of normal end, I'm not going to call it the low end because I'm in that boat as well. It's as tax efficient as you can get it. That's where you start. You use all the tax efficiencies, and then you step up into different things.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relaks Radio, and I'm super excited to be here because we're having a beautiful, and not beautiful, but essentially a very informative and amazing conversation with regard to what is happening not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the world as well. All right, so don't be afraid to share your thoughts. Don't be shy to share your thoughts and your opinions with me, because that would be absolutely amazing, and I would love to hear what you have to say with regard to what is happening in the world. All right, so don't forget to share your thoughts, don't forget to share your opinions, because that would be absolutely amazing. All right, now before we actually head into this conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can in fact be a part of the show. All right, so don't forget to call me on 078-52473-473. Share your thoughts, share your opinions, because I would love to hear what you have to say. And obviously, don't forget to go like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, because that will be absolutely amazing. That will actually help us stay informed and updated about everything that happens, not just here in the United Kingdom, but over the whole world. All right, and don't forget to download that app either, because that way you can listen into the conversation from wherever you are in the world. Okay, so to actually head back into our conversation, we're going to be talking about if all UK adults actually need booster shots. Okay, now earlier as well I was talking about this because this is something that is very important, and also something that something that has received a lot of criticism, and also B, that has that has caused a lot of questions and caused a lot of debate among people in the United Kingdom, but not just people, but also certain influential people out there who've actually said, what, we don't really need booster vaccines, booster jabs, unless you actually have a problem with regard to immunity, especially if you're immunodeficient or if you have immunosuppression, then you don't really need a booster jab. All right, but if you do, then yes. But a lot of them seem to be concerned about vaccine inequality, about how the rest of the world, or some parts in the rest of the world, don't actually have vaccines. They haven't gotten vaccinated, and they haven't even had the ability to get their population vaccinated. And while we're here holding up vaccines and making sure that people that everyone gets booster jabs and whatnot, essentially what is happening is that a lot of these people are in fact living in the worst stages of the pandemic. All right, so that is what this discussion is about. So if you want to share your thoughts, if you want to share your opinions, don't be shy, go ahead and do that, because I would love to hear what you have to say with regard to this topic. All right, and now let's actually head into our conversation. All right, now when it comes to these booster jabs, it's a whole new it's a whole new conversation, right? Because there are many rich countries that are considering offering people an additional COVID jab, but are these jabs actually necessary? And the short answer is, in fact, is that it's unclear, right? Now, preliminary data has actually shown that people do experience a fall in protective antibody levels weeks and months after getting their jabs, particularly against this highly infectious Delta variant, all right? However, it's still quite unclear as to what level of antibodies or other tools in the immune system's armament confer protective immunity, all right? But what we need to understand, or what is crucial to understand, is that the level of antibodies or other immune system soldiers, such as T cells, are required to protect from COVID-19, particularly serious illnesses and death. All right. So what we need to understand is the level of antibodies that we have, right? Okay. So now once we can actually measure these antibodies, and then we see that protection is, in fact, dropping towards that level, only then would there actually be a clear case for administering booster vaccines. All right. But what the but basically what the World Health Organization has said is that they actually haven't collected enough data as of right now. There isn't enough scientific data as of right now to support the use of additional shots, right? Which just goes to say that, maybe if you just have 2 doses of the vaccine, well, that could still protect you, right? Because you're still going to have those antibodies in your body, right? You're still going to have that army, you're still going to have those soldiers in your body that will still protect you, because they have implanted in our bodies the message that needs to be given and said, look, we don't really need we don't really need more. We have enough immunity as it is, and that is what we need to keep in mind. All right, now make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to discuss this more. But until then, make sure that you stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relaks Radio. And I'm super, super excited to be here to share my thoughts, share my opinions with you, because that way I can actually make sure that you're always informed and you're always updated about the very latest that happens in the world, all right? And here at Relaks Radio, that is what I want to do. I want to make sure that you're always informed and you're always updated about all of these things that happen here in the United Kingdom, and not just in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the world as well. All right. So don't forget, don't forget to text me or call me on 078-52473-473. Share your thoughts, share your opinions, but also don't forget to let me know what you're thinking. Don't forget to let me know how you feel about what is happening in the world. And don't forget to go like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and actually make sure that you're always informed and updated about all of the news, right? Especially science, sports, health, technology, finance, whatever it is you want to be informed about, you can do that, because we talk about literally anything and everything on Relaks Radio, right? So don't actually forget to do that. And don't forget to download our app either, because that way you can actually make sure that you're always listening into the very latest conversation from wherever you are in the world at any time of the day, and you're making sure that you're updated as well. There is no other better way for you to do that than actually by tuning to Relaks Radio, all right? And now let's actually head back into our conversation, because we're going to be talking about whether all UK adults actually need booster shots, all right? So to actually head into that conversation, now we were talking about how, we were talking about how many rich countries are in fact considering, offering booster shots to adults, offering booster shots to, people who are considered, people who have immunodeficiency, people who have immunosuppression, to essentially make sure that they are much, much more protected than normal people who don't have any immunosuppression issues, or who even have immunodeficiency, right? And now we have this whole question, of course, because there are so many countries in the world with additional COVID vaccine stocks, as to whether booster shots need to be given. All right. Now, what the World Health Organization has said is that there isn't enough evidence to actually say, look, there isn't enough evidence to actually say, look, you know what, you need a booster vaccine. There isn't enough evidence. So this is something that is completely up to governments to actually figure out if they want to give booster shots or not, right? If anything, with regard to booster shots, if anything, that has been recommended for people with a certain underlying conditions that have weakened immune systems, right? And the response to initial shots is far from optimum. So in those cases, the argument for booster jabs can actually be made, right? And then another question that we have is that, should different vaccines be given as booster jabs, right? What exactly, and if we're going to give different jabs, then what exactly are the kinds of jabs that we can give, right? Now, the jury is in fact still up. If you think about it, they're still figuring out the hows and whens and whys of it, basically. Now, generally, it's actually thought that the different technologies underpinning the jabs actually allows the immune system to be presented with the same target, but in a slightly different way, right? And the truth is, if you're going to give different jabs, or if you're going to give a different vaccine altogether for these booster jabs, essentially what you're doing is you're giving your body different ways to attack the virus, right? Because the way vaccines work, different vaccines work are different. Now, the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine works in one way, the Pfizer vaccine works in another way, the Moderna vaccine works in another way. So all of these vaccines have different approaches to building your immunity, right? And essentially, if you give a different dose for your booster jab, then your body will just have a different way of responding to the virus. You will have a much more diverse immune response, right? And at the moment, people are actually offered 2 doses of the same jab in the United Kingdom, but researchers have actually been exploring whether offering a second dose of a different COVID vaccine, or even indeed a third injection, different to the initial 2, could actually boost immunity levels, right? Now, in late June, there was actually preliminary data from a study that suggested a third jab could be beneficial, following Oxford AstraZeneca shots with the Pfizer vaccine, with a Pfizer booster, right? So you would initially have the Oxford AstraZeneca jab, and that would be followed with the Pfizer booster, right? So that is how that works, all right? Now, make sure you stay tuned, because we're going to head into a small break, and after that, we will be back to continue this conversation. But until then, make sure that, make sure that you stay tuned.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday, and what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow.